Hi, my name is Colin. Welcome to Calliope Music Reviews, aka the Music Canon. Today I want to talk about the underground cloud rap rapper slash producer and the aptly named smokedope2016 and his sixth full-length album release, The Peak. This record is the second installment in a trilogy of albums that began with the 2024 release The Come Up. If you're familiar with my website or my reviews in general, then you'll know that I really enjoyed The Come Up for its Clams Casino-esque hazy production style and hard-hitting trap beats. It was a record that I had on repeat pretty much all of last year, so I've been looking forward to this new release, especially with an ambitious title such as The Peak. The good news is that The Peak is much the same, with those hazy vocal samples, simple 808s, and hi-hat heavy drum patterns that drive heady environments. Then, bright synth work adds energy and complements a distinct 2010s influence internet aesthetic. Specifically, buzzing tube synths, shiny keys, and delayed claps enforce this retro soundscape, reverberating to make room for 16 sonorous vocals. While not a reinvention of cloudy hip-hop production, effervescent crashes, wavy sampling, and bumping bass procure a formidable combination of dense trap and nostalgic psychedelia. Smokedope and his team of producers, including Lil Fitted Cap, Bartesian Water, and Digital Sleeper, all great names, truly encapsulate this ethereal float of a cathartic high through their production. While the production and the instrumentals on this album are very expressive and exciting to listen to, the lyrics and the subject matter is less interesting. First of all, derivative flows and auto-tune singing fail to impress, but they do reinforce this 2010s nostalgia. Smokedope utilizes his deep but rather monotone resonance to flex things like guns, weed, fashion, and even video game skills. While the lyrical structures are pretty derivative and lack much detail, the subject matter complements the psychedelia and enhances a potent reminiscence of better times. 16 actually delivers a couple quite personal reflections on this record. The most impactful of these reflections is on the track East Bay, where Smokedope claims that his mom was feeding him Adderall since the age of 13 due to a questionable ADHD diagnosis. During the track's outro, 16 repeatedly asks his mother why she would do such a thing, citing it as a source of his loneliness growing up. Alongside a quite slow, dark, and dramatic vocal sample, this serves as possibly the most haunting moment in all of Smokedope's discography up to this point, and even steps its toes into the genre of witch house, a genre that I actually think fits Smokedope's style quite well. Despite this down-tempo track, in the latter half of the record, The Peak is actually one of 16's most upbeat efforts, and begins with a splash of brilliant synthetics on the first three tracks back-to-back, Icy Souls, and Taipei/Waterbed. Unfortunately, the middle of the record becomes quite monotonous in its sound, as the tracks don't take many risks and sort of stick to a simple trap formula. However, on the tracks Gnarly, East Bay, and Hypebeast, there's sort of an energetic shift that returns the album back to the form that it started with on those first three tracks. Notably, the tracks East Bay and Hypebeast substitute virtual instruments for genuine drum kits and add a layer of depth to the instrumentation. This allows the record to reclaim some of its distinctiveness in the latter half of the record, but cannot reverse an overall feeling of tedium by the end of the album, especially because of Smokedope's monotonous vocals and lyrical flows. Even though the lyrical structures and rap flows can be quite trite at times, The Peak is still a very sharp cloud rap project, more lucid than most in the genre. Genuinely fascinating sample work and inebriating production warp the brain back to simpler times of smoke-filled bedrooms and Call of Duty compilations on a Saturday night in, 2016. And for that rich psychedelic sound and deep nostalgia, I'm gonna have to give Smokedope 2016's The Peak a pretty favorable review here with a 6.5 out of 10. My favorite tracks off this record are Icy Souls, Taipei/Waterbed, and Hypebeast. And alright, that's about it for me. As always, I encourage you to form your own opinion on this record and let me know what you think of it in the comments. Also, feel free to suggest any other artists or albums you would like me to cover in the future. And yeah, this has been Calliope Music, aka the Music Canon, and I'll see you in the next one.